Okay, let's bring in now the Daily Telegraph's National Affairs Editor and Sky News host, James Morrow, and National Senator Matt Canavan. Welcome to you both. Matt, the department officials couldn't answer questions today, very specific questions about the brief that they gave Catherine King in January, because apparently Catherine King had claimed public interest immunity. How does this operate? Explain how this protects these department officials from answering questions at a Senate inquiry.
Well, what it shows is that the government has a lot to hide here. If these reasons were clearly enunciated and it backed up what the minister's been saying publicly, I'm sure there wouldn't be a problem of releasing it publicly. But I feel sorry for these departmental officials because obviously they're under instruction from the minister. Under the rules of the Senate, they're somewhat restricted in what they can say. They can't give their own opinions and what have you. They're public officials. What really should happen here is Catherine King should come before a parliamentary inquiry of some way, shape or form. She could come before this inquiry, a Senate inquiry. It's not unprecedented. Scott Morrison did that. He came before a Senate inquiry when he was immigration minister, and he had the confidence and wherewithal to hold his own in that forum. But obviously, given the weak appearances of this minister in the public domain, the media, I think she'd absolutely crumble in front of a Senate inquiry. So it's not so much just the government being protected here by the government's tactics, it's the minister herself. And really now, I think she's got to go. She's got to go because she can't explain her basic decision-making principles here. The decision-making process seems to be completely chaotic about who was informed, who was consulted about such an important decision. And really, I think a fresh set of eyes needs to come here. Maybe after the voice referendum, the Prime Minister could reshuffle his cabinet, put in somebody that's got a bit more capability here and have another look at these matters which have damaged their international reputation and hurt our tourism industry so much.
James, I do think we need to get to the bottom of what's gone on here, because in at least these two examples, this is quite astonishing influence from Qantas. You know, lobbying, and this admission at the Senate inquiry that it lobbied the government not to continue funding for the watchdog of its domestic airline monitoring reports that were taking place quarterly. The government didn't fund it after that. And then also this decision over Qatar. You know, Virgin saying, giving evidence at the inquiry that its understanding from its communications with the minister was that she was inclined to approve at least some of the extra flights for Qatar, and then a backflip.
Yeah, and I mean, Sharri, we had the ludicrous half dozen or so excuses over the past few weeks about why Qatar was knocked back. My own personal favorite there was the idea that, oh, Qatar has human rights problems, so, you know, they're at that level where they're allowed to have more flights into Adelaide or Cairns, but not more flights into Sydney or Melbourne. I mean, that was when I think we knew that the whole game was up on this thing. But, Sharri, the other bit that you mentioned in your editorial was just shocking to me. It's not shocking to me, of course, that a company is going to go and lobby in its own self-interest. The thing that is shocking to me, though, is that the government then just rolled over and said, yeah, you know, we're a Labour government here. We're for the people, you know, we're all about, you know, the people out there doing it tough, and we are going to do that to protect those people by protecting a company that is the most complained about in Australia. I mean, think about that for a moment. A Labour government comes in on a promise of transparency and acquiesces to an incredibly disliked company because they're all mates. I mean, that is shocking to me, Sharri.